Morning everyone, welcome to live. I'm going to start with some back exercises. We're going to start real light. I'm having some discomfort with my nerve following my injury. So we're going to do a lot of band work and some light cable work today. I'm also going to hit some curls, work on the biceps. But if you're watching, you know I'm not a fan of working legs. I don't believe any guy actually really likes to work legs. So the game today is, and I'll put this on the screen here in a minute, every leg forces me into 20 free squats. So if you want to watch me do something I hate doing, hit the like button. The more of those that get racked up, the more I have to do. I'll put this on the screen. Who's that guy? The other guy is holding. All right, looks like we got someone hitting the like button, which means I gotta go into 20 free squats. Someone else hit the like button, so we're going another 20 right away. So we got 2 likes in a row, 20 likes each. Means you had to get 40. Still only says 2. That's what it says. Can't argue it. Is that what it says here? You gotta get someone else to agree. Only if you can get someone. Oh, there it is. Now I got 3. Gotta go to another 20. We got 4. Now the ticker went back down to 2 somehow. So I guess I got an extra one now. It's funny. All right, what else we got? We got Jan de Groot says, wait, here, one more like 60. So Jan and Exo Lord Carolina were conspiring. And then there's a third person. Don't know who the third man is. I was forced into 60 squats. And then as soon as I was done, someone took their like away. Let's get it messed up, guys. Whoever's behind the conspiracy ought to be ashamed of themselves. Whoever's behind the conspiracy ought to be ashamed of themselves. All right, back to our lightweight back exercise. My back's been feeling a little sore lately. I can kind of feel the nerve flaring up as a result of my injury. So today's back exercise is pretty light. However, if you want to make things challenging for me, I hate working legs. If you hit the like button, and I got to be forced into a leg workout. I got to be forced into 20 free squats. A few people already took advantage of that. Hit me with 3 likes, which forced me into 60 free squats. You want to make it tough for me? And hit that like button.
It is easy, but it is simple, not complicated. What do most people compliance is the science. If you can see the best results in what you like, you can stick to long term. It doesn't matter if it's 1 workout a week or 6. It's not your genetics, it's not your insulin resistance, it's not your hormones. It's your elbow. Every time your elbow bends, your fucking confidence. That's why you're not running. Your new life is going to cost you the whole life. It was overnight. Like you just knew like, if I want to do what I say I want to do, higher versions of what you can't come with me. If when my dad got sick, there was a part of me that I feel had to die if I was going to make it through that and not be bitter, broken, resentful, angry. But he still loved T.I. to me. That was super important to my old man. He was truly, truly a special guy. A week before he died, his 2 best friends, Jeff and I, came to see him.
Yeah, likes. Let's see.
Thanks for everything.
Nope, no new likes means no new free squats.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad we met. We got to work it out. I appreciate you giving me some of your time.
Watching your social media rise over the last couple of years has been pretty crazy. Over 1 million followers on TikTok, approaching 1 million on Instagram, and somehow you're one of the most relatable guys on the internet. And it started, I think, with fitness, right? So that's where one starts today.
All right, now we're gonna set up some light lat pull downs. So if you want to see me do something I hate doing, which is working legs, hit the like button. And each leg forces me into 20 free squats. Early on, I had to do 60 in a row because I got 3 right, one after the other. I'm waiting on you guys to either put something in the chat or to hit the like button. I'm going to go ahead and set up the lat pull down machine and talk about whatever you guys want to between sets.
What I realized was I spent a lot of my life overweight. I got to a point in college where I was about 60 pounds overweight because I kept eating when I was playing 2 sports in high school, but I wasn't. And I was drinking like it was a big sport. So with that came 50 to 60 pound weight gain over the course of probably a year. But that happened pretty quick. And it doesn't feel quick because it's just 4 or 5 pounds a month. And then you look up and you go, holy shit, I look different than I was close to that. And I did the thing, which is let me go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week. Let me do the cardio because that's somehow super important. Let me eat the chicken, rice, and broccoli. It was up 10 pounds, down 10 pounds, down 15 pounds, up 5 pounds. And then I finally got to this point where I could stick to it, but it was a bit miserable. And I was just stuck at 15 pounds down. And it was at this point, and I always give him credit when this conversation comes up, that I found a creator named Greg Gallagher. And he was the first guy I had ever seen in the space, this was 2016, saying, hey, actually, you don't need to go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week. To which I said, really? You don't actually need to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. Amazing. You don't actually need to eat 5 or 6 days meals a day to keep your metabolism firing. All the things I hated, he was telling me I didn't have to do. And so I went, okay, I'll listen, because I'm frustrated, I'm still overweight, but I'm happy where I'm at. And it was there that he explained through his content, just train really hard, really focused 3 times a week, walk 10,000 steps a day, hit your protein goal, and if you want to, skip breakfast because it actually makes hitting that calorie goal easier, and by the way, all that really matters is adequate protein, calories, and quality food. Stop making this so difficult, stop making food choice so difficult. And he was displaying how he'd go out and have steak and potatoes and maybe a glass of wine, and I was like, you can live your life and be in really great shape and be shredded. Let me try. At this point, I was so frustrated, I said, let me try it. What do I have to lose? And so I did a 3-day workout split. I only walked, no running, no cardio, no Stairmaster. I focused more on my protein and stopped eating boring, bland foods. And sure enough, the last few pounds came off over the course of 9 months, and I was the strongest I've ever been. And I lived that way for years. And so when you ask me what people overcomplicate, there's this idea that in order to get in great shape, you have to sacrifice something great. I think that the bodybuilders of the world like to gatekeep their fitness because they want you to believe it was really hard to attain. Because then that gives it status and importance. I don't believe that. I think that's silly, and I think you're depriving people of something that can be really, really impactful for their lives. So when it comes to how you simplify fitness, compliance is the science. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. Stan Ackerman. You will see the best results in what you like and can stick to long term. Doesn't matter.
All right, we got a third leg.
Or 6. You set a 6
Technically, we've already had 3,
30% of the time, you're better
and
off
1 got taken away, but we'll go ahead and count it. So let's hit the squats.
And over time, that will compound. That effort will compound, just like money in the bank of the stock market. So for me, 3 lifts a week, and for most people, 3 lifts a week, focusing on protein and just trying to get strong every single week, a little bit stronger, and walking If you just did those 4 things, in the moment seems insignificant, but compounded over 6 months to a year, you would totally transform. So people need to stop realizing or stop believing the narrative that life has to be hard for you to be in great shape. That's what they're overcomplicating.
And so let's simplify a little bit more, right? So one of the things
That's supposed to fast? Yes, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then you said there's a little bit stronger.
I already drank eggs.
What does that actually look like?
And I got this orange juice.
The biggest things that people
There's a 4th light, so let's go ahead and go into another 20.
exercise, and then there's training. Exercise is going to go in and get really sweaty. And then training is this is a focused plan. So if we drill down on this a bit more, get a bit stronger is scientifically displayed as the principle of progressive overload, increasing the stimulus over time. Most people don't even know that this exists, but when you think about it, you go, oh, that does make sense. And this is one of my barometers for things. If I have to think about it for more than 30 seconds to make it make sense, I'm not going to do it because it's uncomplicated. It just is. But it makes sense if I tell somebody, well, if you want the muscle to grow, you kind of need to give it a reason to grow. And they go, oh, yeah.
So we got a couple more folks hitting the like
So
button.
what that looks like,
Force me into another 40 squats.
We got a full training program for people right now. What I did was basically a workout A, workout B, workout A, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The workout A was the same. Every time it was A, it was A. Every time it was B, it was B. It was typically a pushing movement, so a press of some sort, a pulling movement, a row, a lat pull down.
Appreciate you guys watching.
Squat, leg extension, leg curl together.
The goal tonight,
squat, Bulgarians,
goal this morning.
whatever blows your hair back.
Just kind of a light back workout.
An accessory, so a deltoid accessory, bicep, tricep.
Feeling a bit of tenderness, achiness in my back, in my nerve, where I had my injury. So I'm taking it real light today.
Bench squat deadlift. And I do.
You want to see me have to do something I don't like doing, which is leg workouts.
100.
Hit the like button.
Easy example.
Forces me into 23 squats.
Then the next time
Earlier I was forced into about 16 in a row.
3 sets of 6.
After that, 40 in a row.
5 at 105.
So feel free to,
And over time,
band together, keep the legs coming.
65 pounds.
Make me do this thing I don't like to do.
You're going to have a bigger body because that's how muscle tissue responds. It's by increasing
back
the
after the
stress
back.
over time, causing adaptation. So that way of walking, adequate movement, adequate protein, and then the only thing that causes fat loss, which somehow just sparks debate on the internet every time I say it, eating less calories than you burn in a day. Pair those 4 things, rinse and repeat for 6 months, and you'll look totally different. But you know, dude, that's the part that I think people have the hardest time with. And it's unfortunate. Hormozy has this great quote, 90% of success can be boiled down to doing the obvious thing for an extraordinary period of time without convincing yourself you're smarter than you are. Everybody kind of knows that the obvious thing would be to move a little bit more, eat a little bit less, and train hard. But some people feel they're so far gone that they can't even conceptualize a goal horizon that's 6 months to a year out. That feels hopeless. So what I suggest people do is set the goal, set your sights on the goal clearly, and then let it go. I want to have abs. I want to be 10% body fat. I want to be 185 pounds. Whatever. You know where you're aiming? Let it go, and then relentlessly build the systems to get you there and become addicted to complying with the systems. Like James Clear says, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. So for me, physical training was all about what is the minimum effective dose across the board in my training and nutrition and recovery that I know I can comply with so that that effort will compound over time, no matter how seemingly small of a moment it might be.
That's right. I love this. You basically laid out my and my wife's journey over the last 2 years. We simplified everything. We did track our macros, like we focused on protein, obviously. And I went from doing berries and Orange Theory and being exhausted and sweaty and feeling like I did something. And at the end of those classes, my wife and I looking at each other like, do we look any different? I feel exhausted.
The group fitness dilemma, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought I was doing something, and then rediscovered weights, progressive overload, hypertrophy, time under tension, tempo, eating more than I ever thought that I needed to, right? Like the amount of food that I eat now to go build versus a cut is crazy.
That's a big one, dude. I see a lot of guys and gals like, oh, my calorie deficit for a 180-pound, 6-foot male, I'm eating 1,400 calories a day. Why are you doing
I
that?
don't need to do that.
No wonder you can't lose weight because you eat that way, you eat like an 11-year-old boy for 10 days, wonder why you're starving, then you binge and you reset, and then you just go up and down, up and down, up and down. That's like, I tell that guy, you should probably eat like 2,200. He goes, no way. I go, all right, man. Well, I tried that. You'll figure it out.
All right, and so I always try to treat my audience when I'm with a guest, and so you're saying all these simple things, go lift heavy. One of the things that I know is people actually don't know what lifting heavy or training to failure is, and that's one of the secrets of hypertrophy and progressive overload. But I want to dig into the limiting beliefs or the excuses that people come up with and see if we can debunk or come up with counter arguments against them.
Thanks for jumping on. Hit the like button. Force me into free squats. 20 in a row for each like button I get. If you know me, you know I like working legs. So you control how much legs I gotta work today. If you don't hit that like button, and I still got chicken legs, I'm not responsible for that. You guys are responsible, alright? So when someone's like, hey, do you even lift, bro, or did you skip leg day? I feel like it's not my fault. It's the folks in my live stream. In seriousness, we're gonna go back to working our back. Some lat pull downs. Real light lat pull down so I don't really aggravate the nerve in my back that I've been having some issues with. You guys feel free to throw something in the chat. Talk about anything you guys want to talk about.
Like really taking my time. And my work there got to be working into like 41. I thought trying this 38 to 41 minutes I'd get a killer workout. So if you don't have 3 hours a week, 12 hours a month, like just drop an hour of doom scrolling. I promise you there's an hour of doom scrolling in there. So you do absolutely have time. The total commitment, I say conservatively, is 3 hours a week in the gym, 7 hours a week walking. And then maybe call it, if you want to, I don't even do meal prep, but if you want to do prepping your food for the week, 3 hours on Sunday, that's less than the equivalent effort of a part-time job. If it matters to you, you will make time. I'm sorry, but it is that simple.
I see what you eat, and I think it's pretty funny, because, not funny, but the look at my wife and I, guess where we are, is whole food, macro tracking, no salt, no add, nothing. And then I see you eat, fish fillet, sandwiches, and the rotisserie chicken mixed with Costco.
I eat some weird shit, yeah.
Yeah, but I think the perfectionism that people expect, for some people they need it. To even be able to have a framework or structure to get there, I get that, but also we don't need to be perfect every single day, all the time, right?
Yeah, well, I think practical is optimal. And people are always chasing optimal, and then they lose what's practical, thereby they cannot be optimal. And I think that you have to exist on both ends of the spectrum to be able to swing back to the middle. So at one point, I was tracking and weighing every single thing I ate. I was not eating out. I swung to the opposite.
So I got lat pull downs. No new likes in the live stream.
Obsessed about what I was eating. And then I realized there was a little bit of a process.
Be sure you're hitting the like button, forcing me into more free squats, but also generating interest in the channel. Just got our 5th like, which means I've got 20 free squats I gotta get up. So let's do it. If you want to make this more challenging, it can turn into 40 if we get a 6th like. 60 if we get a 7th like.
I could eat a higher calorie thing like a fish fillet. That's fast food fish sandwich or fast food sandwich period. Across the board, I'll die on that. And no, that's 360 calories. It's not that bad. I'll borrow some calories from this evening, have that right now, and just have a protein dense dinner. So I eat kind of, call it shitty, I don't like saying that, but no processed, lower protein earlier in the day. I know dinner's going to be a lighter protein dense meal. If I eat lighter in the day, I can have a heavier, more of a free meal later in the day. It's just this awareness of where my calories are at any given time that you get through tracking.
All right, next, my genetics.
We got a 6th like. Now we're stuck on 5. Which means it's just the 20 squats. However, if someone throws another one on there, another like, I gotta go right back into the 20 more squats. Until that happens, we're going back to a little bit of light band work. Something that'll be a little easy on my nerve, on my
genetics, disease,
on my nerve issue.
they all play a role. Right? They all influence your ability to follow the rules of the game, but they do not change the rules of the game. It's like I caught a lot of heat last year from the PCI's community because I made a very short video that was very hyperbolic that said something to the effect of, this is a friendly reminder, it's not your genetics, it's not your insulin resistance, it's not your hormones, it's your elbow. Every time your elbow bends, your fucking mouth opens. That's why you're overweight. And that's all I said. Video cut, and that was started a shitstorm. I still get comments about that to this day.
My wife is laughing in the background. She wanted me to ask you about that specifically.
We can dive into it. But it's true. It doesn't mean I don't empathize with the fact that those things do play a role. And I said that in the video. Those things do impact the rules of the game, but they do not change the rules. That your intake is going to dictate how much you
All right, we're at 5 legs.
It's simply put,
6 legs will make me force me into another 20 squats.
lower and burn less calories. But once you know the levers you can pull, like Wayne Williams talks about levers, points of leverage inside your fat loss journey. Like for me, a lever is steps. If I want to burn more calories, I'm going to walk more. Because if I get 20K steps in a day, I can, within reason, eat whatever I want. And my burn is so high. Another lever is protein, because it keeps me full. So my genetics is understandable, but for most cases, most people don't even know what their genetics are. So it's like, define that for me. I'm like, oh, I just get that when I eat. It's like, yeah, because you have a 600-calorie coffee for breakfast. Raise your awareness. Fitness is not about suffering. It's about raising your awareness to the behaviors that might be keeping you stuck, as is most things in life.
You guys feel free to hit something in the, put something in the chat here.
Yeah.
Talk about anything you want to talk about related to gym, life. You're a fellow dad. Talk about the challenges you have there. Or you're a husband. Talk about challenges there.
There we go.
Talk about maybe where the sticking points are with your own fitness routine.
Like you said, there is a genetics play. Through my journey, content creation, entrepreneurship, fitness, the thing that I find the most is people are afraid to confront the truth about themselves. And fitness is foundational, and it's scary to think about that far off goal and what it means to have to go to the gym every day or 3 days a week or whatever, right? You're simplifying and saying it doesn't have to be suffering, but I think people look to anything they can to justify their current existence.
Yeah, because change is uncomfortable. And that's what this boils down to. It's a reframe and an understanding of what drives change. So the first thing I would say is I would challenge people to reframe how they view fitness. I view fitness and health as hygiene. It's in the same bucket as showering and brushing my teeth. I do those when I'm tired. I do those when I don't feel like I don't even just do it. I don't even think about it. But people view fitness as like a hobby, which just isn't true. Taking care of your body isn't something that you do for fun. It's not stamp collecting. It's something you do because you're supposed to. Because now we live in a world where that's not built into our days. 200 years ago, you were baling hay and pulling up around to plant seeds. Like you were doing things that kept the body moving. Now we have to go to a place to stimulate foundational human movement. So it's hygiene. So the root of this discomfort, I think, is that people have to change. And that scares people. Like we learned in sales, I went to college for sales, I was in sales for 4 years. No pain, no sale. Because if they're in pain in their current state, they will make a change. And it's the same thing with people's health. Change is uncomfortable, but if people are overweight, they're sick, they're chronically ill, because their lifestyle choices, that's also uncomfortable. And we will not change until the pain of staying the same overrides the pain of changing, because both are uncomfortable. Because the unfamiliar is uncomfortable. That's where Chris Williamson beautifully explains the region beta paradox. Most people would be better off. You know what the region beta paradox is? So the example he gives is you have two situations. In one situation, you're less than a mile away from the destination, so you walk. In the other situation, you're more than a mile, so you drive. So paradoxically, you get to a place that's further away faster because you drove instead of walked there. Because I can drive 1.3 miles faster than I can walk 0.9 miles. Unless I'm Usain Bolt, even then. So the theory is you'd be better off in a worse situation because that would drive change. So I tell people to look for the part of your life that you know what's a big one? The thing that really did it for me, I have a moment where I heard someone say something, but taking a picture of myself with my shirt off in the mirror when I was unhappy with my body and I had to look at it and go, oh, fuck, that's what people see. That's brutal. That's being honest with yourself. And that was a way for me to create a catalyst of change. It was rooted in a bit of shame, which I think is okay. You know, shame is an emotion that our society tells us to bury and suppress and love yourself anyway. Well, bullshit. Shame is an emotion, and emotions are messengers. They're there for a reason. Anxiety, depression, fear, excitement, happiness. It is a message. And when you try to bury the message that your body is trying to send to you, it comes around and runs the show subconsciously. Suppression of expression leads to depression. So the emotions you're trying to bury are going to bury you. And so listen to shame, look at the photo, and then figure out how to make a change from there.
That's the whole thing, yeah. Comparison is a thief of joy is another common one. I compare myself to people all the time without putting the judgment, but analyzing what do I really want, what do I truly want, how do I get there, what is Michael Smoke doing, what is Chris Williamson doing, what is Stephen Bartlett doing, who is Dan Martello, what are these people doing that I'm not, that I don't understand yet?
Yeah.
I don't need to be shameful all the time, and I understand what you're saying, because it ends up, your core desire is coming up.
Correct.
And there's an incongruency between where you're at and the core desire of what you want.
That's it.
Yes, and then your ability to be honest with yourself, to take action, is really how you create change. And that's why putting yourself in rooms where it's uncomfortable, putting yourself in a gym, a bodybuilding gym, versus a water aerobics class at the Y with 75-year-olds, which you can probably learn something from them, but if you want to look different, be different, feel different, put yourself in a room with people that look, feel, and are different and where you want to be.
Yeah, the shame shouldn't be the thing that continuously drives you, but it's a great catalyst to start the fire.
That's right.
That's all.
All right, I want to do a couple more, and then we'll move on. A couple more varying beliefs. This is for women mainly.
All right, we're getting close to 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is the time here in Fort Worth, Texas.
So we're getting right back into
We got about
I see a
a little less than half an hour of this live left.
or they don't believe they can do it, but I don't want to get both.
You guys can make this much more difficult for me. You hit the like
I've
button,
been trying for 10 years.
and for each like I get, each new like,
So like if you do,
I have to
you
do
should
20
go compete.
free
You can
squats.
feel a hell of a career in next SIBO.
I've got 5 likes.
What the equivalent of that is.
We've hit 20 for each of the likes.
I've had dudes tell me that.
So we're actually over 100 because I got 1 like, and then it went away after I did the free squats. It's kind of lame. But either way, we're at 120 total squats.
Decades.
I got 60 in a row to start off, 40 afterwards, and then 1 individual by itself, which equated to 20.
Beautiful feminine physiques.
We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So, the whole point of this live is we talk life, we talk gym. I'm a father of 5, married man, former pro wrestler, current businessman. So I got a lot of things I could talk about. You guys want to talk with me on? I'm curious to know about those who are on the live stream as well. What's going on in your life? Maybe we can talk through some challenges or talk through some wins. Whatever it is, put it in the chat. We'll discuss.
So, to any woman who says, I'm afraid to get bulky, the answer is you won't because you don't actually have the hormones that need to do so. And even so, it would take years. If you would start to see it, if the worst case scenario is starting to happen, you start to see it and you can just stop doing the thing it's doing. Worst case. But in most women's cases, all they need to do is go physique and you're proud of it. Right?
What about people that measure everything?
So what?
Moves, auras, sleeps.
What about people that measure?
It's not a limited belief, and it's more like my observation, and this I agree with the whole, is that people that are wearing a lot of measurables or wearables are people that are not in shape. That might be seeing them at the very beginning of their journey. But I also see people that I encounter in my daily life that have been wearing this for a long time, and they're measuring their steps and measuring what they are not making progress.
Yeah, this is a great example of the majoring in minors. It's the guy who comes in these jobs overweight. He's like, I'm hitting my protein window 15 minutes after my workout, and I'm eating 6 meals a day, and I'm on the Stairmaster. I'm like, you just go for a walk and drink water. You're not trying to sprint in and crawl and relax. So yeah, I do think there's nothing wrong here with these things. I've been in my roof for years. I've used the confidence for running, but I'm not fixated on that data. And I think if you're 60 pounds overweight, you should be focused on your sleep score and HRV. I think that the way what society's not referencing is great analogies, and that's the big rocks versus the small rocks. These wearables, these are very small rocks. The big rocks would be how much am I eating, how hard am I training, am I walking outside, am I drinking water, am I sleeping 8 hours a night? Those, if you just focus on those 5 things, and you were at ground zero in your health, you would be unrecognizable in 6 months. This stuff, this is a nice to have. They're fun. They're great. But if you really want to take things to the next level and you're just interested in it as a hobby, it's sort of a way to gamify your health. Now, I've also seen it go the opposite end of the spectrum where people become fixated on their recovery scores, and then there's this mind fuck that happens. It's almost like a technological orthorexia. It's you become so fixated on your health and what the wear.
You're over it?
Here.
You know what we love about Scotty Scheffler? He never stops trying to get more from this game. And that's just how we feel about money. Huntington Bank.
Motley Crue, the return of what Kyle once is.
Huh? Yeah. You're on a field, you just don't know what. Got a little bit of time left on this live. If you guys want to force me into something I don't particularly like to do, hit the like button. And right away I gotta do 23 squats for each leg. That's it. Let me get another set of these bicep curls on. got a few of you guys jumping in and out. Appreciate those of you who were in the live. Not a whole lot of interaction this morning or yesterday morning. It's been kind of slow. Not really sure what's going on, what's missing. If there's something you want to see on these lives, excuse me. Let me know. Try to cater to the interests.
couldn't take this anymore. What would you
All right, those of you who jumped in, appreciate the support. Those of you who hit the like button, made things more challenging, thank you for that. Hoping we can have a little bit more active live streams for the rest of the week. Last couple days have been kind of strange. But those who support, I do appreciate it. We'll do this again tomorrow, same time as usual, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be working more chest, again, rebuilding the atrophy issues again on this side. Thanks for all your support. We'll catch you next time.